AI will change a lot. It is a hype, and I think many of you sees that, but it's something that will substantially change in the way we work, deliver impact, and it's a transformational change. So we don't have all the answers. It's complex. It's some where we need to share how we're doing things before we have the solutions. We don't even know the net effect of AI or the value it will bring. And today I want to talk about the sense making that I'm doing I'm working with transformation and AI adoption as interim CTO or VP engineering at different companies. I'm currently CTO at Funnel, but I have been at Acast over this AI adoption wave, trying to sense make with the organization. And I think we need to kind of share our beliefs without holding them strongly, because we know that they will change. So that's what I'll do today. So AI code development will change, and this is the first thing that we'll see. All developers are using, to some extent, AI for producing code. But talking to different companies, they say that they use AI in code development to 25% or 100%. But what does it mean? Is it kind of only when writing the code syntax? So I want us to kind of start unboxing this black box of what we call development. And we will use different ways of doing this. And I have like these pink boxes, I have hundreds of them. And sometimes I aggregate them depending on who I talk to. So I think it's something around understanding the impact, planning the solution, designing the software solution and the UI, doing the actual code implementation, testing it, and then reviewing it. It's kind of a short. And previously, it has been coding that has been the bottleneck of everything. It has taken time for developers to type in the code and syntax. So now we're into AI slop, because AI can produce a lot of code, a bloated code, and not everything is great with the code AI produce. So we need to tame AI, and we're getting better at that. The markdown files and the agents, and telling them, giving them the context. And now the second problem is that when we collapse the time for code, developers have an identity crisis. Because this is what some of the developers, this is what we believed were fun. It's fun typing code, sitting there and doing the syntax and solving great problems and showing off your technical solution. I'm a developer, and I understand that. Also, developers feel scared. I think so many people feel scared. Like, will AI steal my job? Will I have a job for this? So we need to talk about the developer identity, because I think it's always been creating business value, building scalable tech. And we need to get back to this principle so that developers have something to tie their identity to, now that we're going through this identity crisis of AI adoption. The next thing is quality. Like, if we can produce a lot of code, and how do we maintain and how do we test everything? What are our test processes? So we're getting somewhere, finding how do we navigate the space of AI adoption and AI. We know that we want to get to some business value, and we know that we want to get there fast, but maintain quality. So we're starting seeing what are the guardrails that we need to balance in between. But this space rocket that we're currently on, it's not only 2 dimensions, it's so many different dimensions that we need to navigate at the same time. And that is why this is a complex problem, where we need to sense make, test, experiment, learn, and move forward. So the time for coding has collapsed, and we now have testing that becomes the new bottleneck. But we can do that. We need to validate the code quality. But everyone who has kids in the same age as I have seen this movie Frozen, where Kristoff sings the song of agents are better than people. And we need to figure this out, because we actually can test agent-produced code with agents. And we need to get good at this. And we need to tell them how to validate and test this. So now, review. That becomes the new bottleneck. tens of thousands of lines of code that we need to review and sense make from. Do we want to do this? Is this our new job, to review code that kind of this is not inspirational for developers? And if we let this become the new bottleneck, we won't have developers anymore. So we need to see how to validate the solution, how to do the review. And code review is painful. So if we do this the wrong way and kind of saying agents like summarize and then have developers kind of just pushing a button, we will end up in automation complacency, where kind of the automation and the work from developers just pushing a button, this is not qualified work. We have highly intelligent developers that need to do highly intelligent work. So we need to figure this out, how to do the validation to avoid this. And remember, agents are better than people, so we can do this with agents as well. But then we need to know what to tell it to validate. And code review has we've never been that good at validation and code review anyway. Kind of, it's both context, syntax, and validation, but when we need to figure out what did we want to build from start, what is the business impact, what is the dependencies, and everything like that. We also should include this in the review step, and we haven't always been good at that. So the review step, it will become the new bottleneck. And also, if we solve this with AI, kind of fully and kind of not transparently, we also have kind of, this has also been a step for knowledge sharing. When you have done the code review with a more junior developer, as a senior developer, you have shared knowledge on what good tech solutions look like. And we need to make this explicit again. So this is actually a new step that I think, and I don't know what to call it. I've tried different concepts, but like codify the knowledge, compound the knowledge that we have gained from the previous steps. What is the good design of the tech solution that I have built? And we need to version control this. This is really valuable to have when you ask an LLM to recreate what you had, and also when talking about the design and the knowledge found in this iteration. So we need to figure this out, and this will become the bottleneck of where developers will spend time. So coming back to what we want to validate, it's the planning step that was kind of ahead, designing the solution. And you need to design the solution to tell the AI what to validate. So you need to spend time, and you need to kind of document this and ask the agent to document it. So spending time on planning and spending time on Codify. And then when we have done that, we can produce all the features, any feature. This will lead to feature bloat. Kind of so many tools that never should have seen daylight will be produced. So we need to figure out, how do we build the right thing? And that is kind of leading into why I believe that this revolution with AI will lead us into the necessity of adopting the product model, because the developer need to understand the business impact and the business value. We don't have time to run and ask what to do with the decisions. So the impact, and how like this will be a major impact, because not all developers know this. And we will spend a lot of time in figuring out this, because we will run out of backlog. So kind of we need great product managers and great CPOs. So then we can run into kind of fast and quality and figure out. The developers need to ask themselves, did I make anything better? And the guiding policy for this is that everyone knows what success looks like. In the company, everyone needs to know what the outcome is. And then we come to, these are the new bottleneck places. And bottlenecks, negative word. Bottles filled with something you would like to drink, like positive word. So this is where we want to spend our time. This is the creative use of people's mind and how we bring value. And I think present this to your organization and work with the product model, figure out, make sure that everyone knows what success looks like, and then present this as like everyone gets Barolo. Thank you very much.